now recognize Mr. Carter from Louisiana for 5 minutes of questioning.
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, thank you very much. To the witnesses, thank you very much for being here for a timely discussion about something that's obviously critically important. I represent Louisiana, and as you may know, we narrowly averted a real catastrophe with salt intrusion due to low water content and the issues with climate change. How will federal agencies such as CISA collaborate with state and local authorities to implement proactive measures aimed at preventing and mitigating saltwater intrusion in vulnerable areas such as in my district in New Orleans? Dr. Morley, you want to take a crack at that?
I turned it off. Planning for alternative water supply is certainly a critical need, and the challenges that were faced in that portion of Louisiana were certainly challenging. I think it requires a collaborative approach between EPA, the Corps of Engineers, to some extent CISA, to evaluate some of those opportunities. The Water Sector Coordinating Council, for example, has made wide-scale or regional-scale emergency water supply a critical priority. The challenge, obviously, is the scale, right? Moving, I think they were estimating barging.
Well, we did water barging, we did reverse osmosis. We were fortunate that the weather changed and we got a little break and it wasn't as bad as it could be. But now, given that we've had that test, what are we doing going forward? Because this was Mother Nature. This was climate. This was issues that were done by humans.
Right.
What happens if it were used in that capacity by a bad actor?
Well, that's where the contingencies managing for the consequence, independent of cause, is I think some of the challenge that we need to overcome and address some innovative opportunities to provide new and different water sources.
In light of climate change, what funding initiatives and federal resources are being proposed support long-term resilience and adaptation efforts in addressing saltwater intrusion within areas that are impacted? Anyone care to chime in? Dr. Morley, thank you. Mr. Edwards, Mr. Lee, Dr. Clancy.
I'm not sure on a specific funding program specifically targeted at saltwater intrusion, sir, but programs like the State Revolving Loan Fund and the WIFIA program are set up to help utilities get low-cost loans to invest in new treatment technologies and alternative water.
Have you guys looked at this, what happened in Louisiana, to use it as a case study to determine how we might address it in the future?
I think that's an area for continued research and analysis and how to overcome such a large-scale type of incident.
What partnerships and coordination efforts are being established between federal, state, and local stakeholders to ensure a cohesive and comprehensive approach in addressing saltwater intrusion? How can these collaborations strengthen and be sustained effectively going forward? As my dear friend from Florida just said, we shouldn't wait until these things happen. In this case, it did happen. We saw what we narrowly averted, what could have been a major issue for my state in multiple parishes. What are we learning from that, and what are we doing? You four are notable experts in the area of water and infrastructure and critical infrastructure. Surely you've thought about this, and there's some thoughts on what we can do. You're now sitting before this committee, and we want to be able to arm you with the necessary tools that we don't wait until we have a catastrophe. You now have the opportunity to make an ask. What might that be to ensure that we're better prepared going forward? Mr. Lee?
Yeah, I would add in that we need a consistent message from government. You go to different agencies and you'll hear different things, and we need requirements. On the Department of Energy side of the House, on the advisory committee side, we talk about cyber resilience, cyber safety, climate change discussions, go down the list of it, and every time from the actual electric companies, we'll hear, we can do anything you want, just pick 3 and who's resourcing it. I think we need to standardize on what are actually the requirements and communicate with one single voice out to the asset owners.
Okay. This administration has invested a great deal of money in mitigating lead and the issues with lead poisoning and lead in our water. How's that working, and what can we do to further enhance that? Dr. Clancy? You can't take a nap in the middle of the course, man.
So that is not my area of expertise. So
okay, fair enough. Anybody else? Dr. Morley, Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, there has been a substantial amount of funding made available directly to support lead service line replacement through EPA. In addition, the agency's going through a regulatory revision process on programs or regulations to protect the public from lead exposure.
My time has expired. I yield back.